Hello to the world and to the kingdom citizens. I greet you in the precious holy name of Yeshua Messiah, Yeshua HaMashiach, who said in his word, John 8:32, "And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." Hi, I'm Dr. John Curry, Ambassador Pan-African, and welcome to the Embassy of the Kingdom of Heaven on Earth. If you want to follow this podcast, please subscribe to JC Global Embassy TV 1. Ring the bell and hit the thumbs up button. This video is entitled Man in Humanity to Man. Man in Humanity to Man. It's about King Leopold, a mass murderer of the Congo. About King Leopold, a mass murderer of the Congo. King Leopold II that colonized the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Let's take a view of this clip. And I want you to know right while you're watching it, this is a vicious clip. It's dealing with a lot of things that is horrific with some of the things that was done to the Congolese by King Leopold of Belgium, King Leopold II of Belgium. Let's take a view of this clip.
Throughout history, the institution of slavery has been a source of great suffering for Africans who were subjected to horrific atrocities like rape, torture, and forced breeding. But one particularly brutal chapter of slavery that is often overlooked is the mass genocide perpetrated by colonial powers in the Congo Free State, currently known as the Democratic Republic of Congo, or DR Congo. From the brutal amputation of limbs to the mass genocide of the Congolese people during the colonial era, we'll be exposing the sad reality of how King Leopold became the mass murderer of Congo. So join us as we walk you through this haunting part of history that Belgium refused to make reparation for after many years of exploitation, and King Leopold, the mass murderer of Congo, dehumanization of Congo. The genocide of the Congolese people, which occurred under the rule of the Belgian colonial regime, is considered one of the deadliest mass atrocities in human history. Between 8 and 10 million people are estimated to have been killed, and countless more were severely injured and traumatized. Before the arrival of European colonial powers, the people of Congo lived in independent tribes ruled by local chiefs and kings. These communities had their customs, traditions, and cultures, which were often very different from each other. However, everything changed when King Leopold II colonized the region of Congo. King Leopold II was the second king of the Belgians and was born on April 9, 1835, in Brussels, Belgium, to Leopold I, the first king of the Belgians, and his second wife, Louise Marie of Orleans. Leopold II was his parents' eldest surviving son, and Belgium was a young nation about 5 years old when he was born. His first cousin was Queen Victoria of Britain, as many European royal families were related during that era. At just 9 years old, Leopold II was granted the title of Duke of Brabant. He went on to serve in the Belgian army until his ascension to the throne as King of the Belgians in 1865. At the age of 35, he married Marie Henriette, the daughter of an Australian archduke. In the 18th century, Western European monarchs began to give up their political authority, and by the late 19th century, it was largely transferred to the electorate. In Belgium, this shift meant that the political power rested with the parliament and cabinet rather than the king. Leopold's public career began when he became a member of the Belgian Senate, of which he was a member by right as a monarch. Leopold II showed great interest in his country's development and trade. He commissioned the construction of many roads and public buildings, with some still standing to this day. This made him seem like a philanthropist, earning him the nickname Builder King. As a member of the Belgian Senate, King Leopold II advocated for Belgium to acquire colonies. However, Belgium declined his proposal because it was a relatively small nation compared to European powers like Britain, France, and the Netherlands. which already had colonies. Belgium, being a relatively small nation compared to these European colonial powers, recognized that competing for African colonies could result in conflict with these formidable nations, a situation Belgium was not equipped to manage. Aside from the risk of war, establishing colonies would have required a significant financial investment on Belgium's part. This investment would have been a gamble, as there was no guarantee of return on investment or profit from the colonies. With so much to lose and little to gain, it made more sense for Belgium to avoid entering the race for African colonies, also known as the Scramble for Africa. So to achieve his selfish goal of expanding Belgium's influence, King Leopold II, on December 12, 1876, hosted an international conference in Brussels which focused on the exploration and discovery of the interior of Africa. The conference brought together scientists, geographers, and explorers from all over the world. The following year, Leopold founded the International Association for the Civilization and Exploration of Central Africa. This organization was a front for a private holding company that he controlled. Under the disguise of his organization, King Leopold II portrayed himself as a philanthropist who was interested in bringing Christianity, European technology, and culture to Africa. In 1878, Leopold II hired journalist and explorer Henry Morton Stanley to explore and establish a colony in the Congo region, since he had been to the region in the past. For half a decade, Stanley explored the Congo River basin, establishing trading posts and building roads. He also convinced local chiefs, many of whom could not read or write, to sign treaties with King Leopold II. These treaties, which were allegedly altered by Leopold, gave him control over the region. With the help of Stanley, Leopold II was able to convince other colonial nations of Europe at the Berlin Conference of 1884 and 1885 to authorize his claim and commit the Congo Free State to him. That same year, the Belgian parliament declared King Leopold II the head of the colony of Congo. This gave him complete control of the territory, which he would rule for decades. After gaining total control of Congo, King Leopold II renamed it the Congo Free State. This new territory was the world's only privately owned colony, and King Leopold II referred to himself as the proprietor of the Congo Free State, which was an African country that was 76 times bigger than Belgium. King Leopold II initially extracted wealth from the Congo Free State through the collection of ivory, which could be used to make piano keys, jewelry, false teeth, and more. This source of income eventually began to decline due to a dwindling elephant population. In response, Leopold II turned his attention to another valuable commodity, which was rubber. The global demand for rubber had increased dramatically due to the invention of the bicycle tire and the rise of the automobile industry, leading to a rubber boom that Leopold decided to capitalize on. As plantations were in the early stages of cultivating rubber trees, it would take years before they became productive. During this time, there was a substantial demand for wild rubber. King Leopold II held significant control over a vast portion of the rainforest where Landolphia vines, a crucial source of wild rubber, grew in abundance. This advantage earned him a lot of money, as he became one of the richest monarchs at that time. Nevertheless, the rubber boom ushered in a dark chapter in the history of the Congo, as King Leopold II's brutal and inhumane methods of extracting rubber from the territory led to widespread suffering and genocide. While the Brussels International Conference of 1890 resulted in a treaty outlawing the slave trade and slave smuggling, this treaty did not apply to the Congo Free State since it was privately owned. This allowed King Leopold II to exploit the people of Congo in whatever way he wanted. To extract rubber and other resources from the Congo Free State, King Leopold II relied on a mercenary force called the Force Publique. This force was composed of over 19,000 men, consisting of both European and Congolese soldiers, some of whom were recruited from local rival tribes who had long-standing animosity towards other native Congolese. One of the most notorious groups within the Force Publique was the Zappo Zap, who were known for the practice of sharpening their teeth and engaging in cannibalism. The Force Publique would raid villages and take women hostage. With their families threatened, the men were then forced to collect a monthly quota of wild rubber from the rainforest or risk never seeing their loved ones again. As the price of rubber skyrocketed, the quotas set by the force publique became increasingly difficult to meet. Villagers were forced to walk further into the rainforest to find new sources of wild rubber, spending days or even weeks away from their homes to meet the rising demands. If the rubber collection quotas were not met, the soldiers would often inflict severe punishment on the villagers. This could include severe beatings, body mutilation where their hands were cut off, or even death. Women who were held hostages were often left to starve, and the men were worked to death trying to meet the rubber quota. Many Congolese fled their villages to avoid being conscripted as forced laborers, but found themselves in the inhospitable rainforest with little food or shelter. These had a severe impact on the Congolese population, as few adults were left to hunt, fish, or grow crops, resulting in famine and widespread malnutrition and disease. The birth rate also fell dramatically, and the population was greatly reduced. In addition to those who perished from malnutrition and disease, tens of thousands of Congolese were killed in failed uprisings against the regime of the force publique. Since the ammunition used by the force publique was imported from Europe at a high cost, soldiers were required to bring back the severed hand of each person they killed. This was to ensure that they had not wasted bullets. If a soldier missed their target or used a bullet to hunt animals, they would sometimes cut off the hand of a living person to present to their officer. As a result, baskets of severed hands were collected as proof of their compliance. Adding to the injustice, the Congolese people were forced into unpaid labor to construct numerous monumental buildings and structures that Belgium proudly showcases today. The blood money generated from the exploitation of the Congo and its people also played a significant role in funding the development of Brussels and its architectural wonders. In 1908, accounts of the atrocities taking place in the Congo Free State began to spread in Europe and the United States. Retired officers, non-commissioned officers, and journalists spoke out about the horrific treatment of the Congolese people, with some providing photographs of individuals with amputated limbs as proof of the atrocities. These accounts of abuse and mistreatment, combined with pressure from the Congo Reform Association and other international organizations, ultimately led to the Belgian government taking control of the Congo in 1908. The Congo Free State was then reorganized into a new territory known as Belgian Congo under the direct rule of the Belgian government. As part of the agreement between the Belgian government and King Leopold II, the Belgian government paid him a large sum of money in compensation for his loss of the Congo Free State. In addition, King Leopold II went to great lengths to destroy evidence of his actions in the Congo by ordering the entire archives of the Congo Free State to be burned. On December 17, 1909, Leopold II died at his residence in Laeken, and his throne was passed to his nephew, Albert I, the son of Leopold's brother Philippe, Count of Flanders. In 1960, the Democratic Republic of Congo gained independence from Belgium, ending a long history of colonial exploitation and abuse. However, the atrocities committed during Leopold II's reign and the Belgian occupation have left a lasting legacy of trauma and pain for the people of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Unfortunately, Belgium has yet to provide proper reparations for the significant damage caused to the Congo after many decades of brutality. This historic injustice continues to be a source of unresolved pain and contention in Congo to this day. Despite the scale of these atrocities, the history of the Congo is often overlooked and less known in many parts of the world. But it remains one of the most significant genocides against Black people in modern history, a fact that deserves greater recognition and understanding worldwide.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.